Hi, welcome to this video about AlfaPeople AMS, AlfaPeople's take on how we can take care of your Microsoft Dynamics solution. My name is Carsten Krab. I'm the Global Shared Service Director of AlfaPeople, and I invented this service back in 2014. This video will take about 20 minutes or so, and during those 20 minutes, I will quickly touch upon the biggest challenges of running an application management setup. I have 3 customer cases that I would like to walk through because they had very different challenges that we solved for them. And then naturally, I'll take you through our service offering piece by piece. When you as a company set up either your own support organization or you purchase a support offering from a partner, you want something which is robust. Because regardless what set of challenges you are facing today, I can almost guarantee you it will be a completely different set of challenges you are facing 6 months from now, or in a year from now, or 2 years from now. So you need something which is covering, but flexible enough for you to apply different kinds of focuses depending on the situation you are facing. At times, it might be balancing the delivery, which is your main issue. Actually balancing all the news and new features being pushed by Microsoft, all the requests and ideas coming from your business users, and all that underlying maintenance, avoiding that legacy upgrade later, mixing that all into a stable delivery can sometimes be really challenging. But at other times, it might be the people doing the work which is your main challenge. Actually ensuring that you have an efficient, stable, and always updated workforce that has the width and the depth to both challenge the business users in their requirements, but also just solves their everyday support cases, and doing this without becoming too person dependent and hurting your contingency plan in terms of vacation, illness, or if that key member of your team leaves the company. And then again, at other times, it might be the processes which is your main concern. You may be facing too many issues in production. You're fearing that you're not applying the best practice processes in terms of tests or deployments or basic application management services. Or you might have issues controlling your budget. Most application managers are giving a fixed yearly budget and a completely unpredictable workload, and that can be at some times really challenging to actually balance. I have here 3 customers of AlfaPeople AMS, which came to us with completely different sets of perspectives and challenges. But they were all solved with the same AMS service. They have the same contract and run the same processes. They just applied different focuses based on their current situation. The first customer were looking for flexibility and agility. They just completed a major international rollout to a lot of international users, and during that process they gathered more than 80 change requests. But they didn't really want to embark on a new project right away. So instead, they bought an AlfaPeople AMS, which gave them the flexibility to both support their end users, but also continuously just slowly chop down the change request list in accordance to what they saw from priority from the end user support. So they could actually use the end user support to actually figure out which change requests should we prioritize. The second customer was looking for stability. They had a very business critical system, and they were, at the time when they came to us, facing 2 or 3 major breakdowns every month, and that was really threatening their entire existence. We took over the solution using our standard application management processes, and that improved the stability immensely. But we did not only improve the stability, but by improving the stability, we spent less time on maintaining the solution, which means that they could use that budget to enhance the solution instead of just keeping it alive. The last customer case here is a long-term AMS customer. We had done their on-premise implementation many years back, and now a couple of years ago they wanted to move to the cloud. But during those 2 periods, they have been supported by AMS for several years, and they trusted that team and didn't really want to embark on a new project with a new set of consultants. So they basically said to us, can't we do this migration with our AMS through our AMS team. And of course we could. So what we did was similar to the first customer. We simply noted down all the change requests we needed in order to prepare the solution for the migration. And then we slowly chopped down that backlog while still supporting the end users on their existing solutions until we were done with the backlog, and then we did the migration into production. So completely 3 different sets of challenges, all fixed within the same service. And now these were 3 different customers, but basically it could have been the same customer, but in 3 different years. That is what we see the most, is that focuses change as the companies change. So what is it, this AlfaPeople AMS? What does it consist of? Well, basically it lies on 3 pillars. The service catalog, which is what we do. The role descriptions, and the role model is who does what. And then the consumption model, so how do we manage it? How do we manage your budget? How do you engage with us? And that is all tied together in what we call the operating model. So how will your everyday look like as an AlfaPeople AMS customer? But let's take this bit by bit. So the first pillar is the service catalog. So this is what we do. If you look on the left side, there's the ticket-based services. So this is what you normally regard as standard support. If you are familiar with the ITIL framework, you will recognize a lot of these services. But if you're not familiar with ITIL, it doesn't really matter, because as a customer, this is very, very simple. Regardless what you want us to do, whether it's a change request, or you have an idea for something that needs to be changed, or you are thinking that you are experiencing a bug, or you have a question to the solution on how you do things, you just write us an email, or you log on to our web portal and create the ticket from there. And then you can be rest assured that it is routed to your designated team, and it will be handled under the right qualitative process. If you look at the upper right of the service catalog, we have what we call our on-request services. So these are a set of services that you can initiate whenever you need to, if you need to. So if you need some training, or if you need an extra documentation for your IT audit or disaster recovery, this is where you can order it. Or you want to install our usage monitoring, which is a tool that enables you to optimize your licenses cost, or enables you to actually work with data-driven user adoption. At the bottom right, you will see our management services, and this is a set of services which basically ensures that all the other services are running and that you are happy with the output, that we are aligned, and that you feel enlightened and in control of what is going on. But this is also where we will look further ahead, where we will look beyond the tickets of today, beyond the next release, and actually look at roadmaps both from Microsoft and then how that can be challenged into your application roadmap. The next pillar of our offering is our role model. So the purpose of the role model is to ensure that you have access to expertise in the form that you need it, but also to guarantee the reliability in terms of contingency planning, and also the scalability if you suddenly need more work from us than anticipated. So the team is as such: you will be given a service delivery manager. This is the person that manages budgets, plans, ensure that the expectations are aligned, and can give you the status on various things. You're also assigned a solution lead. So this is a senior architect with whom you can discuss roadmap, strategy, major design changes. So this is really a confidant in terms of how do we actually see this solution progressing. But the most important role in this scenario is actually the customer lead. So this is the assigned senior consultant that has the operational overview on everything that is going on. This means this is the expert on every ticket. This is the one that knows your business the most, your tickets the most, your solutions the most. This is the expert. And then that person can actually choose to delegate tasks to other peers, dedicated developers, dedicated testers, or business consultants. So he has a variety of people supporting him in delivering that service to you. Basically, what we've done is that we have sort of taken the normal support model and turned it upside down. Because if you call a support hotline today, you'll be talking firstly to a generalist. Then you explain your problem, and then you'll be transferred to someone semi-expert that knows a little more about the area that you have a question in, and then maybe you'll even be transferred to a third person, which is the exact expert in your question. What we have done is that we have actually set the expert first. So the first one reviewing your tickets is the customer lead, the one that knows most about you and your solution. And then if that person decides that this is actually a task that can be delegated for the sake of contingency and scalability and expertise, that is manageable. So this is really a really solid model. And the way we have structured it and spent a lot of time really going into detail with our role descriptions and responsibility splits in this means that we can staff this team globally. Most of our customers run a setup where the service delivery manager and the solution lead are local consultants from their local country, but where the rest of the team is actually staffed from our global resource pool. This ensures that you both have that personal connection to some of them, can get some face-to-face time. You will also get a personal connection with the customer lead, but that will more be online connection. But ensures that we can actually find and retain experts for every role. And we can also naturally, since we're staffing globally, keep the cost to a minimum, meaning that it will actually be quite affordable to have experts on your support team instead of just rookies. The last pillar of our offering is our consumption model. And basically, it's really simple. We are selling a managed service, so everything is included. We are the hourly rate. So we have one hourly rate regardless who delivers that hour, regardless whether it's the service delivery manager or the architect or the consultant or the developer, one rate. And it is in a scalable fashion. So that means that in the beginning of the month, you just let us know how many hours you want to book. We scale the operation during that month to fit that, with the aim of coming out the last day of the month saying, done, you're out of hours. If that workload differs during the month because it is an unpredictable workload, you have the option to either scale down of work, so down prioritize some of the tasks, or buy extra hours during the month. But the target is constantly to try to fit it into that pre-booked budget. If we turn all these pillars and combine them into one operating model, this is what it will look like. So this is your everyday with AlfaPeople AMS. You can at any time naturally supply support requests or apply change requests. You simply write an email or you log on to our web portal and create it from there. We manage all support tickets using what we call thresholds. So this is your guarantee that we will never spend more than 5 hours on a support ticket without alerting you first and asking whether you approve us spending more than 5 hours on this. And we handle all change requests using estimates. So the first thing that we're going to do when we see a change request is do a ballpark estimate, return it back to you, and wait until you say, okay, go ahead. So this is your guarantee that the budget will never run wild because you are in complete control. Now, in regular intervals, this solution lead I talked about before will then be available, both for you to have discussions with him that you want to have, but also for the team if they have requests or concerns about some of the designs or where the solution is headed, they can apply those to him as well. And then in regular intervals, we will wrap things up, package that into a release, test it, and deploy it. And whether we want to do this weekly, bi-weekly, every month, every year, whatever, that is a cycle that you decide. Now, around this every day, we have 4 processes. So we have a monthly process, and that's tied very much to the commercial model. So that means that that is where you tell us how many hours you want to buy, how many releases you want in that during month, and then using that, we start setting a plan for that. Let's take an example. You want to buy 100 hours, you want 1 release. From historical reasons, we can see that we may spend 15 hours to actually package, test, and deploy a release. Okay, so you are from the 100 down to the 85. Then we may be also to see from historic data that we approximately spend 5 hours a month for alignment and reporting to you. So down you are 80 hours. Then we can see that we are roughly spending about 30 hours on support from new end users, stuff coming in that we need to handle, which leaves us you 50 hours to go and pick in your backlog of change requests, and that will be the preliminary release scope of that month's release. Things can happen during the month, and we'll get back to that, but that will be the initial plan, and that will be the plan that our service delivery manager is committed to supplying against, to delivering against. Then we have a daily process, and this is where every customer lead have a stand-up with each other. So this is an internal process where they will basically say whether they need help, whether they're on top of things, and this is your guarantee that you're not only harvesting the benefits of your own team, but since we're having this process, you are also harvesting the benefits of all the other teams managing solutions, which is actually quite similar to yours. So you are harvesting all those benefits as well. Then we have a weekly process, and that is a process we have together with you. So this is where our service delivery manager and customer lead aligns with the progress versus the plan together with you. So are we following the initial plan, or has unpredicted workload shown? Are we ahead of schedule? Are we behind on schedule? Do we need more hours? Do we need more work? How is that lining up? And then you make those prioritizations that you need. And lastly, the last process is our governance and development process. So this is a mixture of initiatives which is either every half a year or every quarter, but this is consolidated reporting, so you will have a better idea on where you're spending your money. It will be where we look at Microsoft roadmaps. It is where we will invite you for inspirational workshops, or you can order a inspirational workshop if there's something specifically you like to have demoed. We do internal orders, so you are guaranteed that we are following the best practices of the industry. And we are naturally also asking you straight and simple, are you happy with our services, or where do we need to improve? The AlfaPeople AMS is a vast internal framework. We have loads of internal process documentation and training sessions for our employees. But as a customer, it is really as simple as you see on the screen right here. You supply the workload whenever you want. You have that frequent intervals discussions with an architect. We package things up and package them and put them into production in regular intervals. And then you have these 4 governance processes surrounding that setup. It is as simple as that. And that is basically all I had to share today. AlfaPeople AMS is a major part of AlfaPeople's business and is something that we invest in to improve every single day. And we are lucky to have a lot of long-term and happy customers. And if you could be interested in maybe becoming one of them, or at least hear more about it, don't hesitate to reach out. We will be happy to have a chat with you about what AlfaPeople AMS can do for you. So thank you for listening.